This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Warrenville City Council regular meeting for March 20th, 2023. This meeting will be conducted in the traditional in-person format at City Hall here. For convenience, however, the public may view the meeting virtually using the go-to information that is located on our website. But do please note that public comment will only be available in the in-person meetings format. The remote meeting access is for viewing purposes only. Those viewing the meeting remotely will not be able to provide public comment via the remote meeting access. Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Ashour?
Here.
Alderman Berry?
Here.
Alderman Davalos?
Here.
Alderman Goodman?
Here.
Alderman Krischel?
Here.
Alderman Kruckenberg?
Here.
Alderman Lockett?
Here.
And Alderman Widener.
Here.
Great, thank you, Julie. Would you please stand as you are able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At every meeting, we set aside some time for citizens' comments. We have one person who has signed up this evening, Mr. Bob Siebert. Bob?
Bob Siebert, Albright Court. 30 years ago, the city council stated not one dime of the taxpayers' funds would be placed at risk in the Cantera development. Next, it was necessary to design a financial agreement with the developer to ensure that this occurred. At that time, there were only 2 management employees, a financial director and a recently hired city administrator, Jim Connors. To add to this team, they brought in Barry Moss, the city attorney. The plan that was produced First, the developer would pay all costs, fees, installation, streets, water tower, all items. Second, once $37 million was invested by the developer, the city would issue notes for items completed satisfactory at 8 and 9% interest. Third, notes would be paid only from TIF revenue. Fourth, the annual TIF revenue at the beginning, 50% would go to the developer, 50% would go to the city to pay for its administrative costs, any other costs or impacts that the city received. Fifth, the notes not paid by TIF revenue at the end of the TIF period would become worthless. Sixth, also the city bargained for a $1.5 million developer donation to help build this building. That $1.5 million was received in 1994, so we received interest on that from 1994 on those dollars until the building was built. So we can see that the city council at that time achieved their objective. It is unfortunate now that the city does not follow the lead from TIF 1. TIF 3 and TIF 4 are placing the taxpayers at risk.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else this evening who didn't realize they had to sign up would like to speak? Okay. We'll move on to official and staff comments. Just a couple of things from me tonight. One, we had our annual budget meeting this last Saturday, a 3-hour meeting that actually went quite quickly, mostly because of the enormous work that staff did ahead of time to prepare for that meeting. It's always a pleasure for me to chair that meeting because we have about 25 people in the room, all with the same objective, make sure that Warrenville's on a sound financial footing, and make sure that every time we make a decision, it's in the best interest of the community. So it's very gratifying to do that. And I would like to thank the elected officials and staff for their efforts and the fact that I look forward to that meeting every year and I don't have to dread it because you do good work. The other thing is we get every week a weekly report from staff about what's going on in the community and what's happening. I just wanted to note that rarely a week goes by without something in that report about staff training. It's amazing to me how often our people are upgrading what they're trying to do at the police department, in our administrative department, downstairs in community development and finance. Everybody is always taking training to bring back new ideas and to do their job better. And I lost track of the number of trainings that took place in the last week, but I want to congratulate staff for always being on top of things and always trying to do their job in a better way and learn ways to do it better. So that is also very gratifying. So thank you to staff. That's all I have. Clerk?
Just on everybody's table, you have
Oh, I was going to say that.
it's okay.
All right.
I'll be up.
But you're up now, so you might as well.
All right, so just, those are the ones that you need to approve for tonight, not the previous ones.
Okay, there are some changes to the minutes for the March 6th meeting that are in front of you, so when we make the motion, let's make sure that we make those changes as part of the motion, okay? Thank you, Julie. Alderman Goodman.
Thank you. springtime is here. The snow is melted when we had any snow, which wasn't that much. And it's time to do some cleanup. There is a call for volunteers for cleaning up the Prairie Path and the Great Western Trail System. There's an event that's going to happen on Saturday, April 29th. I want to let you all know about. Approximate start time would be 9 a.m., but it's set by the coordinators. You can find out information about the Prairie Path specifically at www.ipp.org or contact Ken McClurg and Dennis Turdy at info@ipp.org to indicate that you're interested in helping clean up our Prairie Path. Come on out with some garbage bags and some gloves, and let's help make Warrenville a beautiful place. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Anyone else? Okay. City Administrator? Nothing tonight. And City Attorney? All right, then we'll move right along to the approval of the agenda for this evening. Alderman Widener, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I want to be sure to include the revised submissions and changes with this motion. And I move to approve the agenda for the March 20th, 2023 City Council regular meeting with submitted changes.
The changes were for the minutes.
Yes.
That's the next motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You want me to start over? I move to approve the
You can have a
agenda for the March 20th, 2023 City Council regular meeting.
So, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The agenda is approved as presented. Now for the approval of the minutes. Alderman Weiner?
Yes. I want to move to approve the minutes of the March 6th, 2023 City Council regular meeting with the submitted changes.
Okay, and the other two sets also?
Yes, to approve the minutes of the March 6th, 2023 City Council closed session, and to approve the minutes of the March 13th, 2023 Community Development Committee meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion of the minutes? Again, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved with that one change. The consent agenda for this evening, item 6A, accept Plan Commission recommendation, waive second reading and pass ordinance 02023-06, approving a special use permit to allow the operation of a liquor manufacturing facility without ancillary retail or tasting room located at 30 West 180 Butterfield Road. B, accept Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals recommendation, waive second reading and pass ordinance 02023-07, approving a landscape plan and special use permit to allow outdoor storage at 3 South 450 Route 59. C, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and pass resolution R2023-14, waiving competitive bidding and approving the purchase of 4 2023 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit vehicles from Sunnyside Company of McHenry, Illinois, for $166,762, based on the McHenry County Sheriff's contract prices. D, accept staff recommendation and pass resolution R2023-15, approving a professional services agreement with Codometrics for the preparation of zoning regulations in an amount not to exceed $62,895. E, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and authorize the partial closure of Stafford Place for the annual bike rodeo event, as stated in Management Analyst and BPAC Staff Liaison Youngmeyer's memo dated March 9th, 2023. F, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and approve the request to solicit donations for the 17th Annual Bike Rodeo event to be held on May 20th, 2023. G, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and approve the Environmental Advisory Commission recommendations for distributing magnolia tree seedlings as listed on the EAC memo dated March 13th, 2023. H, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and direct the Plan Commission to conduct a public hearing to consider potential zoning ordinance text amendments that would, 1, increase the number of dispensary special use permits available in the city from 1 to 2, and 2, make it possible for a dispensary to operate within the Cantera PUD. I accept Community Development Committee recommendation and authorize staff to submit to the U.S. Census Bureau a request for cost estimate application and a letter signed by the mayor requesting a special census be conducted in the city of Warrenville. J, accept Mayor Brummel's recommendation and appoint Legler to the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Awareness Commission for a term expiring April 30th, 2024. K, receive and file minutes of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on February 23rd, 2023. L, receive and file minutes of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on March 9th, 2023. M, receive and file report of invoices paid up to March 15th, 2023, in the amount of $42,586.26. And authorize expenditures for invoices due on or before April 3rd, 2023, in the amount of $206,682.78. And O, receive and file report of master debit card expenditures for the month of February 2023 in the amount of $16,889.24. Alderman Widener?
I move to approve the agenda as presented by Mayor David Brummel.
Second.
Motion and a second. May I roll call, please?
Alderman Lockett,
Aye.
Alderman Chrisell,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashower,
Aye.
Alderman Kruckenberg,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
and Alderman Goodman.
Aye.
Motion carries, and the consent agenda is approved as presented. We're on to item 7, the regular agenda. Item A, would someone like to make that motion? Alderman Goodman?
I'd like to make a motion to offer second reading and pass ordinance O 2023-05, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $10,700,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2023, of the City of Warrenville, DuPage County, Illinois, for the purpose of financing capital improvements in and for the city, providing for the levy and collection of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
Second.
Second by Alderman Davalos. Okay. We have Mr. Anthony Maselli here to explain what's going on and give us, I think, some good news this evening. And Anthony represents Spear Financial Incorporated.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Anthony.
Good evening. So in front of you tonight is the second reading for the parameters ordinance, which gives the city the authorization to accept the sale of the bonds. This morning, we conducted the competitive sale of the city's general obligation bonds and had a great result. We through the competitive sale process, we received 58 bids from 6 bidders through an open auction process. So a lot of demand. Actually had the 15-minute auction window extended by about 7 minutes as bidders kept overtaking each other to try to win the city's bonds this morning. So the winning bidder was the Baker Group out of Babylon, New York, at a original rate of 3.6201%. That rate was revised after the sale when we resized the par amount of the issue to 3.6168%. Final par amount of the issue is $9,730,000, and that will provide for a project deposit of $10,450,456. We now move on to closing on April 12th.
Okay. Is there any significance to the number of bidders? I mean, that seems like a lot of bidders. Is that a good sign, a bad sign?
It's a good sign, absolutely. Yeah, technically, 3 bids is what's considered a competitive sale, so anything more than that is a good sign and good show of demand for the city's bonds today.
Okay, would that indicate that our reputation financially is pretty good?
Absolutely. That and the fact that the city has the Standard & Poor's AA+ rating, so you have the second highest possible rating, which aids in the demand, drives down the price or the interest rate of the bonds.
Great, thank you. Questions for Anthony? Alderman Goodman?
Is there anything that we should know about what happened this morning? Anything that, we're not familiar with this. This isn't something that we do every day. The city hasn't issued bonds in years. Are there things that surprised you? Did this go better than you expected? You know, you have experience doing this. Talk to me.
Sure. No, I would say it was a better than average sale. You know, seeing 58 bids is certainly a very high number of bids, right? I saw many underwriters rebidding and trying to win the business. That isn't abnormal in the sense that it doesn't ever happen, but it's not only good to see, we don't see it all the time. So that number of bids is on the above average side. It was great to see that demand. What led to that demand obviously was the rating, the financial characteristics of the city. We also found ourselves in a very interesting market. There isn't a lot of supply out there. There's not a lot of other bonds being sold. So we've kind of found ourselves in a spot where these underwriters are coming to the market and there isn't a lot to buy. So, which is always good when you're the one selling. So that, I think, aided in the result that we saw today. If you watch the events of the last week, it was a little bit of a roller coaster in terms of interest rates. Obviously, that was something we were watching very closely to see how that may have affected our sale today. There was a lot of due diligence done last week to make sure that the underwriters were going to show up and bid, and I'm glad they did. So.
Okay, now that puts my mind more at ease.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, our next step is?
There will be a lot of documents to sign, and then we go on to closing. Closing is when the money actually exchanges hands from the underwriter to the city. That'll happen on April 12th.
Excellent.
So
Great.
rates are locked in, sale amounts are locked in.
So it was a good day.
It was a very good day.
Excellent. Alderman Davalos?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a clarifying question on the numbers, because the interest rate was a little lower than I was sort of told to expect, so this is very good news. So in our agenda item today, we were talking about the issuance not to exceed $10,700,000. That number, looking at the Spear Financial paperwork, that's comparing to the final $10,450,000 number, or the $9,730,000? Which number?
Yeah, it's the $9,700,000.
Got it. Those, okay,
So we're
thank you.
about $1 million lower than the max. Not
Yeah,
to-
that's what I was calculating, but I was hoping I was right, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anthony, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
You can come back anytime you like when you're bringing good news.
Sounds
We're
good.
happy to have you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if we have no other comments or questions, we need a roll call, right?
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Lockett,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Krischel,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Krokenberg.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our job is done for that tonight. Excellent, thank you. We have nothing under unfinished business. We have nothing listed for new business that we have to consider this evening, but we do have the need for a closed session. If I could have the citation and a motion, please, Alderman Berry.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2, parens 1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity.
Second.
Second by Alderman Goodman. Roll call, please.
Alderman Krischel,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Krokenberg,
Aye.
Alderman Lockett,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
and Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now going to enter into executive session. We will not be conducting any business subsequent to our executive session. You're free to go about your personal business. Thank you for your attention this evening, and we'll see you next time around.
This conference